Alright, what's good everyone? I'm Nate. I recently have been no-lifing the shit out of Marvel Rivals. We hit Eternity, playing nothing but fucking Strange, solo queuing, abusing the hell out of that character, and playing support, doing other stuff like that. And time has come for me to finally make a tier list of the characters, because, you know, it's a fun thing everyone else is doing, right? I might as well just jump on the bandwagon here a little bit. So, I have on the left here the tier list I made before I was grinding the shit out of the game, and I didn't upload it because I wasn't confident I was right, and apparently, seeing fucking Iron Fist and S tier? I don't know what I was thinking. I'm gonna go through the characters again and just quickly rank them off of competitive viability for top 500 elo. That's the elo I currently play in. And yeah, we'll just see what's changed and what hasn't. So let's start off here. Okay, Adam Warlock. I put him in A tier last time. I mean, that's pretty much the same. Adam's really good at burst healing, and his shift soul bond is kind of fucking insane. It's able to stock Psylocke ult. It's able to mitigate Magneto ult. I mean, there's a lot of ultimates in the game that get almost completely shut down or nullified if Warlock times his shift properly. He's also doing crazy damage, lots of headshots. The only problem with Adam is that it's very easy to overwhelm a team that has an Adam if you have, like, if the enemy team has a Punisher and it's just chipping away at your tanks constantly. Yeah, Adam doesn't have enough healing resources to keep up with the constant damage that some of these DPS do. You're running at risk of letting your teammates die, and his res is good, but it really suffers from everyone only spawns with 100 HP, right? The 100 HP respawn is really brutal, and it's very easy to snowball in and, like, just snowball, run past Adam, run past all of his, like, run past his team, kill them. Even when the res goes off, like, they'll just kill them again. Very often, the full, like, it's hard to get value out of a full team res rather than just rezzing, like, one or two people, because if the full team's being rezzed, they can all just get killed because everyone knows where it is, and it's all this big telegraph thing. But yeah, I think solid A tier pick. I don't think you're trolling with him. I think it's very good. Black Panther, dude, like, everyone loves this character. I don't actually think, I know he is very popular and he does get a lot done, but I'm not convinced he's like S tier. Like, he can get shut down by Mantis. There's enough burst in the game, even with his overhealth, to kind of pressure him out and, like, killing him for bad punishes, bad engagement. There's some counterplay here, but I fucking ranked him C tier originally, which is just hilarious. This guy's definitely fucking not at least C tier. This guy's super fucking broken. But yeah, no, basically, solid A tier pick. He's not the best melee character. I think that goes to Magik. I think Magik was actually just so disgusting. I hate playing against that thing so much. Well, that and Wolverine. Oh, we'll get to fucking Wolverine later. But yeah, no, I mean, I can't ignore his damage output burst is pretty good. He has so many dashes. It's so frustrating to lock him down once he gets going. Once he gets one reset, he gets, like, all of them. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as he starts going, he's going. Solid A tier pick. Not really pick or banned. Oh wait, need to add a god tier, like pick or ban tier. That's what I need to do. But yeah, no, he's good. But there are ways to shut him down, and Black Panthers can get very overwhelmed by the amount of CC that's in this game. So yeah, Black Widow, dude. I love her so much. She's my second most played character, but they're really, like, I don't know how you can make her work in, like, the funny thing is that I've actually seen her in a couple Eternal games and Eternal lobbies where basically, like, an enemy DPS and an ally DPS will just agree to have, like, a Widow duel. Like, that's happened more than once where they'll be like, yo, go Widow, and they're like, okay. So, like, there's, like, little Widow matches on some Koth maps I've had, but that's, like, the only way she's even remotely viable is if there's another Widow on the enemy team that's also sandbagging. Like, her damage output is good. She can one-shot people if she's being damage boosted by a Mantis or anything in the game, really. It's just the pace of the game is too quick right now. There are some people playing her like Widowmaker from Overwatch, which I think is incorrect. I think she's much more like Ashe. You know, she's bolt actioning up close in your face, really, like, just doing consistent damage. She actually has a pretty good consistent damage number. But when it comes to, like, actually pressuring to kill people, like, she doesn't have, like, her kick ability is cool and it sets up a nice kill for a squishy that dives you. But most of the time, all the squishies that are diving you either have overhealth, some damage resistance, or they're actually tanky, or third, they're not a squishy at all and it's a tank and it doesn't, you know, you're not gonna be able to kill that thing. I love her, but in the current season 0 solo queue meta, there's just no reason to play her. There are much better picks to do consistent damage or one-shot people. Unlucky Widow. I tried to make it work for a while, but at the end of the day, it just is what it is. Hulk, what did I rank Hulk last time? B tier? Yeah, he was kind of slept on. He's definitely at least A tier. The thing about Hulk is that not only is, I think he's actually pretty good on his own. A lot of people will argue his Gamma fucking synergy is, like, super solid, and it is. It's a really good synergy with Iron Man. Iron Man is a S tier character because of it, but But I think his base kit is also super good. I mean, he's constantly jumping. He has shields up every like, what, 12 seconds or something? It's a pretty consistent defensive shielding, which charges his ult, by the way, which is crazy. He has his ult, which just full heals him, and it gives him more HP to work with. He can ult again. He can recast it, which the recast isn't super good, but it does provide more damage. It provides like a damage resistance, which I don't know if a lot of people know about. It actually makes you tankier when you ult someone again on recast, and you're just able to be alive forever. I mean, you're just like a fucking menace. And if you dive the backline with any DPS in this game, there are a lot of viable melee DPS that are diving constantly. Hulk being able to assist it, probably one of the best characters in the game to assist dives. This is a very solid character. He actually is closer to like pick or ban, because he actually is banned in a lot of lobbies. I'm actually debating if I should put him in S tier, to be honest. They'll just leave him in A tier for now. Definitely a very good tank. If you learn him, he's like the three horsemen of doom. It's like Strange, Hulk, Magneto. Like those are the three tanks that you want to know if you want to climb at all in this game. Captain America, fucking C tier, I guess. What did I put him before? I put him in fucking A tier. Okay, that, I don't know what I'm smoking. That was a little bit high. He's not that bad. I don't know. I think C tier's a little, the problem with Cap is that he stays alive forever, right? Like, you cannot kill this guy if he's using his shields properly and he's running around dodging bullets and fucking going ham on your back line. He's in and out all the time, but he also doesn't do anything on his own. I mean, I think he can set up, like, if you're focusing with Cap, like if you're shooting at what Cap is punching, it's enough to like get them killed, right? Like good focus fire. But at the end of the day in solo queue, like you kind of pick Cap to like stall. It's usually a last second pick, and if it isn't, you know, you have to like run some weird synergies with it. Like Cap and Thor is still solid, like it's a solid synergy. But the problem is I just don't see him like doing a lot of work on his own, like solo carry wise. Like if you dive the backline as Cap, yeah, you're gonna bug them, but most supports in top 500 elo are good enough to peel for themselves, sleep you, heal themselves up, you know, throw like a cloak fucking wall at you, and now you're discorded 90, get the hell out of there, you're gonna die in like 2 seconds. It's kind of hard to get anything done with this character by himself, but at the end of the day, it's like fine. You know, it's not the worst thing ever. So I'd definitely run him up if you're a fan of playing Cap, but there are better tanks in this game currently, I think, personally. So Cloak and Dagger, I go back and forth on this character all the time. I see her a ton, but I just don't know if they're S tier material. You know, like their healing output is obviously one of the best in the game next to like Luna, but their playmaking potential isn't. You know what I mean? Like their ult is really good for ult denial, but it's not, I don't know. I debate putting them between A and S tier. I think the thing is with Cloak and Dagger is like your playmaking potential is limited, but you can keep your whole team alive for so long that eventually they'll overwhelm the enemy team. I think it has to be an S tier for now. I think I don't really see a bad Cloak and Dagger map. I think the only problem with Cloak and Dagger is that you're not picking Luna or Mantis. That's the only issue. The only issue with Cloak and Dagger is that they're not Luna or Mantis. I think that's the only problem. You know, if the God or Pick or Ban tier is its own tier, then I kind of have to be relative to that. I'll leave her in S for now. She might be at the bottom of S. I ranked her decently high last time, I think. It's so funny how things change so often. Yeah, I ranked them S last time. But they might be bottom of S. They might be top of A. Strange, easy S tier. Easy S tier. Strange is so good. He's definitely the best solo tank in the game right now. Consistently high damage. Shields are OP, blocking several different ultimates in this game. He's got a good health pool. He's got good damage output. I mean, his ultimate is awesome playmaking. Eye of Agamotto, stunning 3 people, one-shotting their backline. I mean, he's a force to be reckoned with right now. He's sometimes banned, but there's characters that are better to ban. You kind of have to like play the game more to understand what I mean by that. But like you can ban Strange. It's not like a terrible ban, but I think they're like, you're better off banning like Hela and Hawkeye and Mantis and Luna. You know what I mean? Like those characters make the game, like these characters completely change the game. Strange is like just obviously the best at this current season 0 meta right now in terms of like consistency, right? You can always play Strange. Every single game, you can always play Strange. It will always work out. It's never a bad pick. That definition of an S tier pick right there. Groot, solid tank. He does a lot of damage, good walls, good defenses. The only problem he has is that he's kind of puts a big stress on your healers to heal him. And what I mean by that, is that if you have a Groot on your team, it's very likely that that they will take a lot of damage, and it's going to require your healers to constantly look at you and keep healing you, and that might be a detriment to your team comp depending on what you're running. Like some of your flankers might be trying to be really aggressive, like maybe your Namor is holding an aggressive flank, but they can't be healed. Like your Namor can't be healed because your healers are constantly trying to keep Groot up, because Groot does have some walls, but they get shredded pretty easily or walked around, and this guy's just a big hitbox. Like he takes a lot of damage, but he does do a lot of damage in return. His ultimate is probably one of the best in the game. The Groot ult, it just pulls everyone together, everyone's taking damage. A lot of good synergies there, a lot of opportunities. The only reason I'm ranking him below Hulk is because he doesn't provide any direct synergies like with Iron Man that make him a fucking god. And Hulk is technically, I think personally, Hulk has more opportunities to make plays without his ultimate. I think there's actually a lot of good playmaking potential here in the high elo ranks of Hulk. And he's banned more often. Like, honestly, Hulk is almost pick or ban just because of the Iron Man synergy. So I'm gonna bump him up here, actually. Because you don't ban Groot, right? But you sometimes ban Hulk because he's just that good with the synergies. Like, it's just too important to have him in some team comps. But Groot's a very good character. Solid pick. Hawkeye, I mean, definition of ban or pick or ban. I don't really need to explain that. Everyone's talked about it. You one-shot everything in the game as Hawkeye. It's pretty gross. Same thing with Hela. Pick or ban. I don't need to explain these two. These two are just like the god DPS of this game. You need to pick or ban those characters every game. Fucking Iron Fist. Why did I rank this guy S tier last time? I think I was being mind controlled by chat. It was actually being mind controlled earlier. He's not, okay, some people are ranking him like C tier or even D tier. I don't think he's that bad. I think the problem he has is he just doesn't have any burst. He's similar to Cap in that, like, if you run in as Iron Fist, you can harass someone for a good while and you might get a kill, but your DPS just isn't that high to be super threatening immediately, especially in this elo. Once everyone's like, you know, aware of what's happening, they know what your block does, they know how to like not shoot you, or they just heal through your damage and they're healing each other. But I've seen a lot of Iron Fists in my lobbies still in Eternity or in Eternal, and they perform very well. I don't really have any problems with Iron Man players when I see one on my team. They always find a way to like get a double kill. Like, I don't know, like I think their ult just does enough damage to go through some of the healing in this game. But the problem is, again, is that like there's a lot of CC in this game. Burst damage is king and he does not have burst. You can like shift in, combo, do some bullshit, try to like make yourself do more damage early, but then you don't have any escapes. Like if you use all of your resources on one guy to all in them right away, there's a chance you still don't get the kill, and then you're just a sitting duck. Then you're just fucked. You don't have block, you don't have shift, you know, you're just gonna die. But I wouldn't say you're actively trolling if you hover the Iron Fist. I just think like your teammates are gonna be like, man, it's gonna be hard. I think you have to really make this character work. Like you have to be an Iron Fist one trick to like make it decent, which is why I think a B tier is a good place for him. Like it's not, I wouldn't get upset if I saw one on my team. It's just much easier to get much more done with like other characters like Magik or Black Panther or, you know, any of the ranged DPS in this game. Wolverine especially, God, I'm gonna get to him. Iron Man, a surprising fucking change up. I put him in C tier last time, bro. Iron Man is a fucking legend with Hulk. Now the problem is though, is that without Hulk, kind of falls down a bit. And so it's kind of weird to rank him because he's so dependent on that gamma synergy. Because with Hulk, he's up here. Without Hulk, he's still okay. I'm gonna put him like bottom of A tier, I think. I think you can still play him because his ultimate does one-shot through Mantis and Luna ult. Like it's the ultimate one-shot ability in this game. So no matter what, even if you're just like poking people out, like you're just playing like an aerial Junkrat, you're not really like doing much proactively. I think this is a solid pick for sure. Solid A tier, I think. With Hulk synergy, definitely goes up to S, but I'm just gonna leave him an A for now for solo queue because you can solo queue up to Eternity. Do I keep calling Eternity Eternal? Whatever the rank is. You can solo queue him up to top 500, but you're gonna towards the upper half of the bracket, you're gonna start wanting an Iron Man to a Hulk with your Iron Man. And because Hawkeye and Hela are banned all the time, this is why this character is able to shine. The pick or ban system makes this a much more interesting game. Jeff, man, oh man, Jeff was S tier last time. Goodness gracious, how the mighty have fallen. I think Jeff might be the worst support in the game. The thing is that like his ult's annoying, right? There's all these clips of people getting eaten and fucking dying, and he just kills himself off the map, and it's like, oh my god, Jeff. But like in reality, people are kind of wising up to it really hard, and there are some Jeff players that are still making him work. Like it's again not like troll, I don't think automatically, but the problem is that as soon as Jeff is being focused at all, Jeff's only reliable option is to run away because his DPS is actually pretty fucking laughable, especially when everyone in this game has overhealth or damage reduction or, you know, a bubble, anything. Trying to fight someone 1v1 as Jeff, it just almost never works because you're always fighting a character that either has overhealth, can do more damage, can burst, and can just like one-shot this guy with headshots or something. Like it's pretty easy to kill this thing once you dive it. He does have his like swim and he runs away, but but the more time he spends running away, the less heals your team has, and it's just much more viable to like pick a character that can either instantly teleport away like Loki, or fight back like, you know, Mantis or Luna to some degree, or, you know, Adam especially. I mean, Adam can just 1v1 like half the DPS in this game. He's a mini DPS with a bunch of heals, and Jeff just doesn't have that potential. So, but he still has good healing output, and when the ult does land, it is very clutch, especially in like overtime situations. So I don't want to hate on him too hard. Some people are putting him down like C. I think he's like still fine. We've all wisened up. S tier is way too high. This guy's not that good, and the toppest of elos. Loki, dude, I kind of slept on Loki, not gonna lie. B tier? No, I think he's A tier. The question is he better than, I think he's better than Adam for sure, because you can at least steal the Luna ult, and you can do a bunch of crazy bullshit. Not gonna lie, I think his healing output is kind of subpar, but I don't think it really matters, because as long as you're able to copy another support's ult and instantly pop it, it's kind of like over. Like 2 Luna ults is ridiculous, 2 Mantis ults is ridiculous. Like it's kind of insane. He has like good base kit. His gems are super good. He turns all the damage into healing for his allies. It's super clutch, and it's up pretty frequently. Like I feel like every time I'm Strange and I land an ult, he always has gems for it. It's even though like he just used it, like he'll have it up again by the time I have ult. So solid character, definitely worth trying. It's just somewhat situational, because not every Loki player is good, and this isn't like the easiest support to play in the world effectively. And if Luna or Mantis is open, it's really hard. Like if they're both open, like I guess we're gonna get to this right pretty soon, but there are better supports in the game that are open. But if you are a Loki main, you're doing all right. You're eating well. Just make sure you copy the support ults and ults like as soon as you can, because every second you're not like healing, it's like pretty detrimental. This game requires like constant heals because the damage output's really high. Luna, God, pick her ban tier. I mean, probably the highest. I mean, well, no, these two are banned more often. There's more games where Luna gets through, but this is a pick her ban character. Absolutely. I don't really need to explain that. Her ult makes everyone basically invulnerable. Like, yeah, there are ways to kill her through the ultimate with Magneto ult, with Iron Man ult, but like it's right now the healing output's just too high. Magik might be the best melee character in the game. She's certainly one of the easier ones, and she gets a lot of value. Like, she gets overhealth on every attack that she uses, like every ability cast, I think. And this thing is just unkillable. Her dashes give her invulnerability frames. She has like 3 of them up. She has her little minions that she summons, which are like doing crazy amounts of damage. Her combos are actual one-shot. Like she's like if Spider-Man was actually really good. If Spider-Man was as good as Magik, you know, Spider-Man would be S tier, but Magik can actually one-shot people like in their backline, and it's really disgusting to play against. It's really hard. If you don't have like a Mantis that's like on her game, or a Luna that's like saving a right click, I mean, you're probably gonna be dead to her pretty instantly. Her ult is fine. It's probably one of the more underwhelming ones, to be honest, but it does make her a threat. I mean, it makes her, you know, this unkillable machine. She's already unkillable. It makes her more unkillable. It makes her do more damage. So best melee character in the game, I think, hands down. Solid A, maybe bottom of S tier. She sometimes gets banned in lobbies. We might come back to that. The only thing that's preventing her from being S tier is like Namor exists, I think, personally. The fact that Namor exists at all makes it really hard to, you know, warrant picking her every game. Magneto, another S tier character. But the thing is with Magneto is that he's just really safe. It's really hard to kill this guy because he has his shield up all the time. He has his own self barrier. He can barrier himself, he can barrier an ally. His ultimate also saves him. He's also CC immune while he ults, and he can one-shot through a bunch of support ults in the game. I would say he's like probably rated about here because you don't ban Magneto. It's the same thing with Strange. You can ban him. You can ban Magneto. You can ban Strange, but like it's better to ban like a Hulk or something, or like I don't know, any of the supports, or you know, you have to ban these 2 DPS. He's just really good at not dying, basically. There's no bad comp to play Magneto into, so I think there's a solid S tier character there. Mantis, same thing. God tier. Sleeps are insane. AoE very, quite honestly, pretty easy to hit. Damage output's very high. Healing output's surprisingly good. It is possible to be bad at that character though. I won't lie. You know, it's a support. They're not super difficult, but I think Mantis, you can definitely fuck it up, but she's still pick her fan for good reason. Like her ultimate also just makes everyone invulnerable entirely. It's pretty tough to do anything about that. Moon Knight's interesting because there are a lot of comps where he's run very often, but I feel like I don't win with him very often. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like the damage output he has is potentially good, but there's so much shit happening like that isn't like, not, people don't ball up as much as you would think in higher elos, especially if they have flankers. If they have like a Magik, you know, or if they have a Black Panther, you know, your Moon Knight just kind of dies to them. Like, it's really hard. Like, this guy is a flanker without any of the good 1v1 tech. He's really good at group damage, and his ultimate's insane. Very good, like one of the few ults in the game that can like burn through Luna or Mantis ult. So he has to at least be A tier. I would probably put him above these guys, I guess. I don't know, Loki's insane just because you can clone any of the potentially broken characters in this game. I think I'm gonna leave him about here. You can shut him down, and some Moon Knight players just don't swap off of it, even though they probably should. They're like, oh, they have good damage, but like, it's not like effective damage, you know? It's like, it's spread out, a bunch of other people. It's really feeding ult charges to a lot of supports. But I think still solid A though, just because there is that, like, the Unk can still like do burst, like crazy high damage, and if you're not like constantly aware, he still gets a nice like picker here or there. Namor, kind of challenging S tier, honestly. I mean, I can't think of a single time Namor's bad in this current meta. You don't really ban him. Sometimes he gets banned in like 1 out of 10 lobbies, but I think it's kind of a waste. I think he exists because these guys are constantly being banned, and that because all these other melee assassins are super good. I think Namor has to be an SP, maybe like bottom of S tier. There's just like no bad comp to play him into. I can't really think of anything. The only issue I could maybe see is if like Hawkeye is open, right? Then you don't play this guy. Hawkeye will just kill you, but Hawkeye's always picked or banned, so. Really good shield for himself, and it allows healers to heal him while he's shielded, which is super good. It makes him super nice. You can get some crazy angles with that as well. You can get up to some really good high ground. His turrets have really good range, and with the Luna synergy, if you get it off, I mean, this guy becomes like a total menace. He gets a second squid, and it's pretty insane. Very good high damage output. He is like the Hawkeye at home, basically. He's doing lots of damage, barely no fall off damage on his kit. Really solid, very good at countering the melee characters as well. So if you have like a Magik or a Panther that's just like harassing your team, you just pick Namor, and it just makes these guys have like a much harder life, which is very good. Penni Parker, is it for C tier character? I don't know. Well, some people are picking Penni to counter Wolverine, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know how effective that is. I don't see a lot of Penni players in high elo. I think she is picked in a few lobbies for like first point holds. Like the mines do a lot of damage, and there are a lot of scenarios where it can be good. But I don't know if it's really worth, like, I wouldn't pick Penni. Yeah, I think C tier's fine. Like, I would never pick her. I can't really think of a situation where I'm like, oh, we need Penni here. You know, like, her ult's fine, you know, gives herself a lot of sustain, and she's able to be on point and drop a billion bombs and potentially kill people. She is a pretty decent counter to Cloak and Dagger because the mines just set up, and then when Cloak ults, all the mines just go right to her and they explode. But other than that, I don't know. I think C tier is perfectly fine. There's just not a huge reason to play her outside of very niche situations where you want to counter an ultimate like with a web. Yeah, sorry, Penni players. I don't really see a lot of you, and I don't really think it matters that much. Psylocke S tier for sure. Maybe above Namor, honestly. Maybe above Magneto. Above Hulk? I think Cloak's too high. Put Cloak like down there. Yeah, I think that's better. Psylocke's ult's just super good. It forces out a Luna or Mantis ult every time you pop it, and she has really good damage without her ult as well. Very good kit. A decent amount of overhealth. A very good duelist. Her mid-range is pretty solid too. Like, Panther and Magik have to be kind of balls deep to get things done, but Psylocke doesn't even have to be that close. She can be like, you know, within 20 meters and still kind of chunking you, you know, a lot of HP being tickled down just by her left clicking you. There's nothing bad about this character at all. She gets banned a decent amount, but it's not mandatory. I technically don't think you need a banner, but there are a lot of lobbies you do, so it's pretty up there, I would say. I'm only not putting Hulk. I'm not putting her above Hulk because I think Hulk is more consistently useful, and the Iron Man synergy potentially shoots this guy up to an insane fucking S tier. Because Psylocke doesn't really have any crazy, like, they have a synergy with Magik, but like that never comes up. Like that literally never comes up, I don't think. Super good character. Punisher, very good DPS. Probably one of the best DPS consistently, I think. I think there's just no bad point to running him. He can shred through Luna ult or Mantis ult, which makes him very viable. Magneto ult as well, it actually could counter him. The problem is Magneto players are getting kind of good, and you can just like instantly toss that shit so it doesn't blow up in your face. Very high damage, really no bad point in playing him. I think the only time it's like bad to play this guy is if they're running like, I don't even know, to be honest. Like, I think melee characters do kind of shit on him, but his shotgun's also super good. Like, if he's ready for it, this guy kind of has the tools for every engagement. So yeah, I think right here is fine. He's probably one of the best ranged DPS in the game. The only reason he's not like S tier, I think, is because there's more burst options. Like Magik can burst, Namor can burst, Psylocke can burst. Punisher can burst with shotgun, kinda, but really what happens is like, really what Punisher's gameplay is always he's just gonna spam left click at head level on tanks or on DPS that are overextended, and then just ult. And then usually when he ults, he'll be like, it's a pretty good like game-changing ult, but until then, it's just a lot of tickle damage. But the damage output is actually pretty good. Rocket, where did I put Rocket? Rocket, I put last time in A tier. Honestly, I kind of vibe with that personally. As I was playing, I kind of hated him. I was like, man, this guy must be the worst support in the game. But after playing him in solo queue, like, I don't know, he's kind of always good. His synergy with Punisher and Bucky makes him so much better. And also, he has ult up every like 30 seconds. I think the key to playing Rocket well is to just use your ult, like literally just use that constantly. Like, just pop it, you know, you're gonna get it back like every 30 seconds if you're constantly healing, which you should be doing on this character, because the healing output itself isn't super high, but because it's going to everyone all the time constantly, it kind of gives your whole team a tankier, but like everyone just feels a little tankier when you have a Rocket, including yourself, because you can heal yourself. And the res beacon is super good as well. The armor pack is kind of laughable. I don't even know why they bothered. It's like 25 HP and it goes away instantly if you get tickled. It's kind of like laughable. I don't even know why they bothered with it, but the beacon's good. The healing output is kind of mediocre, but the ultimate 40% damage boost, I think people are kind of like dismissing it. I think it's actually pretty solid. It feeds ult charges to other characters super well. The only problem is that if either Luna or Mantis are open, like you gotta make sure you're picking these two. You know, if you have like Rocket Atom or something, like that's not enough heals, you know what I mean? Rocket Loki might struggle to keep up as well. That's like the only stipulation, is that you can play Rocket, but I think you need to make sure you have like a really good other healer on your team if they're not banned. Otherwise, it's gonna be pretty tough. But you know what? I think he's solid. I really don't complain about him anymore. Scarlet Witch, man. I think Scarlet is probably the worst character in the game. Probably. I don't think that's a very hot take. I think I've seen a couple of tier list players like do that, but she's probably the worst character in the game. I'm not gonna lie. It's like, you can do some stuff with her if you're in a stack. Like if you're calling constantly and you're like, okay, I'm focusing this guy, and you're like constantly holding like right whatever her drain ability is, like whatever you're doing to Moira suck them, like it helps like focus fire. But outside of that, bro, like you really need burst in the higher elos. Like it just doesn't do anything if you're tickling them. The tickling does scale with max HP, which is interesting, right? So you can like focus tanks with Scarlet, but I mean, we all know who you want to pick if you want to get rid of tanks, but I digress. I think sadly, if you're solo queuing, I think it's like really hard to make her work, even worse than Widow, because at least like with Widow, there's a chance you burst someone. Like you can finish someone off from a distance, you know, you can help like headshot the tank and it does a big burst damage. You're like, oh shit, you know, but Scarlet doesn't even do that. Like, and her ult is so telegraphed nowadays. Like, I'm sure you can get funky with it and like make your Strange do some weird portal tech, or like Magneto bubbles you. But yeah, this character's it's just too weak. I'm afraid. There's not much else to say. Spider-Man, Spidey. Spider-Man's fine, but I don't know. I think he kind of fucking suffers a little bit. He kind of sucks. You can play him, right? Like, it's the same thing with Penny. You can play him, but is it below Iron Fist, though? I think that's, like, a little bit harsh, personally. I'm not sure. I might move Iron Fist down again, or Jeff. There's just not that many Spider-Man players. I don't know. I can't really defend this. Like, his ult's good, I guess, right? Like, it gives him a lot of overhealth and a lot of burst and a lot of, like, melting ability. The whole problem is with Spider-Man, you have to set up for, like, a solid, like, half a minute to, like, do your whole combo. Like, you're waiting for your whole combo to come back up. It takes, like, 17 seconds or something, right? It takes a long ass time. Magik and Panther are in like every 5 to 10 seconds. Like they're good to go. Like, you know, they go in, they go out, and they're waiting for only a few seconds and they're back in again, like ready to go. Spider-Man has to like twiddle his thumbs for like a solid like 15 odd seconds to do anything, and it's pretty brutal. And even then, like you do the whole one-shot combo and it doesn't even one-shot, you know? It's pretty hard. It's pretty bad, even with the Venom synergy. Then you have to play Venom, and that's a whole nother problem. C tier is pretty low, but we'll see where I might readjust shortly. But I just think even Iron Fist holding left click on someone, at least Iron Fist is able to like, you know, keep a presence. You know, Spider-Man sometimes just, you don't even see him. Like he's not even there for half the fight. And then if he does go into one-shot you might not even get one-shot, you know, and they might heal through it, or they might CC you or whatever. So it's a lot of work for very little value in my opinion. Squirrel Girl, you know, I think people are a little hard on Squirrel Girl, but her ult really does suck. That's like the biggest thing, is that she does good damage, but like once she gets her ult, it doesn't really do anything. it just bounces around and flies off the map, doesn't do anything at all. This character like helps with like frontline pressure a little bit, but I mean, at the end of the day, what you really need to do is like lock people down and like get those flankers under control. She does have some good stuns, and she can reset her stuns pretty frequently, and it's pretty disgusting, all things considered, but it's just not enough for me. Like, if people are like kind of low in the back, you know, Squirrel Girl has a really hard time of like, you know, focusing down a person that's like targetable from a distance and killing them, because they're just like they're just slow lobbing grenades that can be dodged or like blocked or, you know, get healed by the time one hits you. But the damage output is solid, I guess. Like, you're gonna get a high damage number. I would just think there's better characters to play, personally. So, Star-Lord. Where did I rank him before? I'm kind of curious. Man, I put Spider-Man A tier last time. That's hilarious. Star-Lord B tier? He's definitely A tier, I think. There's a lot of A tier characters. There's a lot of solid characters in this game. I think Star-Lord's actually one of the best DPS in the game. Like, he's just always viable. You can shut him down. You know, if you have enough shields on your team, if you have a strange Magneto and they're kind of on their game, it might be kind of difficult to do anything, but there's just really no bad time to play Star-Lord. I think he's very self-reliant as well. All of his dashes giving him like damage and vulnerability, and his little AoE Reaper thing making it really, really hard to hit him is also really good. His ult does high damage. There is very little problem picking this character. I don't really see any weaknesses outside of, you know, he suffers from damage fall off pretty hard, so you have to get kind of close to like really finish someone off. But you know, I don't really see a problem with this character, honestly. He might be bottom of S tier. He's picked all the time. He's in like all of my games. I think he has to be bottom of S tier, just because if Hela or Hawkeye are banned, it's really difficult to shut this guy down if you don't have either like another Star-Lord to like match him, or I don't know, your Namor has to hit like the nuttiest fucking shots of all time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's pretty difficult to actually shut this guy down once these guys are banned permanently. I think this is why he's up here right now. Storm, man, Storm D tier. I might bump her up to C tier, just because, like, look, I know she's like not very good, but she's pretty bad. I can't lie. We've waited long enough to see the Storm players. There are some Storm players in Eternity and Top 500. Like, there are some, but it is just so hard to get all the value for this character. I mean, like, the damage boost is what, 8%, and then if you double it when you use your like E to like activate it, it's just not enough. I don't know. Like, she's pretty good in 3-1-2 comps, and what I mean by that is like 3 DPS, 1 tank, 2 supports. Like, that's where I see her shine the most, is when you don't actually have 2 tanks, you just have 1, you have 3 DPS, and then the damage boost is applied to the 3 different DPS constantly, so you have a very high damage output team. But, you know, then the question is, okay, so if you're running 3 DPS, why don't you just run 3 good DPS? You know what I mean? Like, why don't you just run, like, Punisher, Moon Knight, fucking Magik or something, or like Black Panther or Star-Lord? Like, you could just run those 3 and that would be very good on its own. And instead you have, you know, one which is like kind of okay. Her ult's okay, but it's just like, I don't know. I haven't seen enough from Storm players to convince me that this character is anything better. She's definitely not, I don't think she's D tier, because I think you actually can get some stuff done, and I have seen some good plays in high elo with Storms, with their ultimates. So I think there is potential still. My prediction is next season this character is going to go up to like high B tier, because these characters won't be super OP anymore, and we're gonna have to let them through, and we're gonna have to ban other things, and that might leave some room for Storm, or maybe she just gets a buff directly. I don't know. But yeah, solid, like, nah. Just like bottom of C tier, I think, personally. I'm gonna bump Spider-Man up to here, I think, personally. Let's just do that there. Thor is a very good tank, actually. I think he's actually kind of solid. He just suffers from team comps. I think the problem is that you definitely can't run him as a solo tank, and he's kind of a weird duo tank to have. It can work. I think he's actually pretty good in triple tank comps. There are some comps, like they run like Captain America, Thor, and Magneto, or like Cap, Thor, and Strange, or something like that. They'll run the triple comp, 1 DPS, 2 support, and I think that's actually where he shines the most, because he acts as like the anchor. He acts as like the DPS of that composition. His damage is pretty good. He's pretty threatening when he presses his F key, and he's able to do like a lot of damage at range. I think that's very solid. The problem is that he is susceptible to being melted all the time, but he is surprisingly tanky though. It's kind of weird. Like, it feels like he's inting a little bit, but sometimes he just doesn't actually die, and it buys everyone enough time to focus fire like a support or something, and then we all get killed for it because we're looking at the Thor for too long. I think it's hard to argue for A tier though, because there are too many instances where he isn't good, I think, in terms of like team comp wise. I think when when he shines, it's super good, but I think the stars kind of have to align to make this character super amazing. So I think that's why I'm going to put him in B tier, because it's like he can work, but everything else has to be set up for him, basically. Venom, man, I put Venom in like fucking what, S tier last time? Holy shit, that's a fucking mistake. I think Venom's like maybe C tier, honestly. I think Spider-Man is probably the best thing. Maybe slightly, I don't know. This is pretty interchangeable to me personally. I think I want to put him up here. I think I'd rather see a Venom on my team than Spider-Man personally, just because I don't really trust like the average high elo Spider-Man to do as much. But Venom really suffers from the fact that his ult is fucking trash. Like, it doesn't do enough like, it's supposed to do this big burst chunk damage and like one-shot someone. It doesn't one-shot anyone. And the burst is like, he comes out of the ultimate too slowly after he like does the chomp to like finish off his own targets. Usually people are full health by the time the ult like hits. By the time he chomps, Luna's already like half or full healed the person that just got chomped. So it's really hard to follow up on your own dives in this game. So you need someone to dive in with you. Well, the problem is that like, okay, if you're diving in as a tank, right, their front line is really suffering, and there's a lot of frontline pressure in this game right now with characters like Punisher, Moon Knight, Namor, like just constantly chucking shit at your front line or the back line, and Venom isn't getting enough value currently. I think he just really suffers from this damage output. It's just a little bit too low, I think. I would personally rather not see Venoms on my team. I do see them often enough, though, in high elo, so people are playing him. They're trying to make him work, but I think he might be the worst tank in the game, actually. I think things have changed. Penny, is Penny better or worse than Venom? I don't know. It's kind of interchangeable. I would rather see... I think Venom is just barely more viable than Penny, only because he does create enough confusion still in the current meta where people might get confused and they might not know who to heal and they might, you know, panic a little bit, and then you're off DPS or your flank DPS can, you know, make a play while he's, you know, grabbing everyone's attention. That's like the ultimate play style of Venom. Just get everyone to look at you, you're doing some bullshit, and then someone else does something on the sidelines while you're like distracting them, basically. But other than that, he's just getting shot a lot, so I'll just leave him in C tier for now. Bucky, I put Bucky pretty high, I think, last time. I put him like top of A. I think he's just maybe okay. I think the problem with Bucky is like twofold. One, his bullets aren't hit scan, which is really weird to me, and I like playing him, but I think it's kind of odd that like you have a handgun kind of fantasy character like this, and they're not very good at like denying aerial space or control. They kind of have to just like spam a head level with this guy. The damage output's solid. The ultimate's pretty fun, but there is so much healing in this game that if you're not constantly landing headshots, right, like you need to be like on your game to play this character. And even then, I don't even think it's that amazing. I think it's like just barely okay. I don't know, the hooks are kind of good though. Now that I'm thinking about it, the hooks that Bucky can do are pretty solid. They fucked me over more than once when I'm playing Strange, but they can be blocked. They're pretty telegraphed. You can see it from a mile away. It's kind of fucked up when the hook does hit you, but at the end of the day, I'd rather not. Like, there's just better DPS, I think, at the end of the day. That's kind of all I really have to say. I think you work pretty hard to get some stuff done, and the old resets are funny. Again, right? But at the end of the day, I don't really see it personally. I think he's just a solid high B tier character. Wolverine, I fucking hate this guy so much. He's so fucking good. He's so annoying. As a Strange player, I'm not biased at all, but Wolverine's actually very, very, very good. He was very underestimated by most of the community, I think myself included. Where did I rank him last time? Did I even rank him here? Oh, there he is, B tier. No, he's definitely higher than B tier. Solid A tier, top of A tier, almost S tier, maybe. He just does so much disgusting damage to tanks. It's really, really disgusting. The only problem though is that he isn't that good into like triple DPS comps. Like if you wisen up to the Wolverine playstyle and you lock in like a solo tank, Wolverine's damage, because it's so heavily based on max HP, doesn't do a lot to squishies. It's really hard for Wolverine to like win a 1v1. His whole playstyle is like play around your tanks, like hook the enemy tank into your team and then just delete them. But yeah, I mean, that being said though, his ultimate is always good. Like even if you're a squishy, that shit will just one-shot you. Like it's so gross how strong that ultimate is. Auto, like they're just dead. They're also CC'd while they're in it, so it's just like an ultimate like GG. It's super, super tough to deal with. As a Strange player, I hate you guys. I hate Logan Gang. Fuck you guys, but very good character. The only reason he's not S tier is because there are enough comps and there are enough situations to like make him not play as well You can definitely stall him out a little bit, but yeah, he was super, super good. But yeah, I think this is it pretty much in terms of like top 500 Eternal playstyle kind of tier list here. I'm just looking at the last second changes here. I think I'm gonna put Cloak a little bit lower. Yeah, this is pretty much it. I think this is pretty solid. Season 0 was super fun. I had a lot of fun just grinding the game out and playing Strange every fucking game. Will they nerf that guy? Probably. I think they, well, there's other characters to nerf, right? I'm looking at these two, looking at these 4 specifically. But looking forward to next season and looking forward to seeing what you guys think. I mean, I think technically everyone in this game, well, I look at the material list, I don't really see them being viable, but let me know what you guys think about this. Personally, I've had a lot of fun playing the Rival Rivals, so yeah. Thanks again for watching. Appreciate it.
Thank you again to all my lovely patrons. Alton Praise, Bastion Saber, Basket of Clementines, Blue Bomber, Prism,
Captain Americassi,
Curse of Dragons, Die Chance, Dragon Bjorn, Flint Hero, FYI, Garchomp, Garridan, Goblin Slayer, Gold,
HTTP Sam_com,
Hugh, Harold, Nate's Basement Yordle,
Nico Modding,
Nutty,
Roy, Samuel, Seaman,
Simply Pirate, Sunny, Taco, Unseen Blade, Victor's Rose Toy, Violet, and Waffles. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good one.